Well, folks, I spent over $200,000 this week on some stocks. In this video, I will share what stocks I bought, why I bought those stocks, including I spent $50,000 here today, over $50,000. But at the front of this video, I need to get some things off my chest. And I also need to help some individuals out there in a major way, okay? So ELF stock obviously fell huge today, right? And I noticed some people are happy that I went down on that stock here today, right? That it was down big. They were happy others in the community were down on that. It gave them pleasure to see me go down on that stock 19% today, to see others go down on that stock today. And, I've been on this platform since 2016, right? And I've been able to build a community of folks that support each other and root for each other. We want each other to do well. People want me to do well. I want others to do well. We all support each other, right? But I think recently we've gotten a lot of new subscribers in the last few months, specifically since the Trump election, right? That are new to the market and they don't understand the community we have here, right? This is not a community where we root against each other, where we root against other people, where we get pleasure out of them doing bad. That's not how this works. You don't see me creating hate videos, talking trash about this and talking trash about that and making fun of people for losing money. You never see that, right? We support each other. We root for each other. We want each other to do well. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the golden rule. Do to others what you would have them do to you, right? And the last thing I would ever want is, it's not fun for people to root against you, to want to see you do bad. That's not cool. That's never been cool, right? To support each other, to root for each other, to be there for each other, I think that's really special. I think that's what makes us a community really special. What it ruins a community is people that can't wait for somebody to lose money, for somebody to do bad, for a stock to go down or something like that, and it gives them pleasure. That's not wavy. That's not cool at all, right? I want everybody in my city to do well, Las Vegas. I want them all to do well. I want everybody to do well, right? I want everybody in the United States to do well. But beyond that, I want everybody in the world to do well. I want some guy in India who I'll never meet in my life. I want him to do well. I want him to be able to support his family. I get zero pleasure out of if somebody does bad in their life. If they're doing bad financially, right? If their investments don't go well or whatever, I get zero pleasure out of whatever their situation is, right? I would much rather have them do well in life. Like, that's what's called being a good human, not like rooting against people, wanting to see them do bad, wanting to see them fail and those sorts of things. Like, that's just not cool at all, right? Step one, first off, if somebody's making fun of me for going down on ELF today, you just look silly. I'm up 884% on that stock, and I took ridiculous profits over the past several years on ELF stock. And you've been following me on the channel, which most of you guys have, right? You saw me take profits on that stock time and time again over the years, right? And now I'm at a place where I want to start buying ELF stock again. We'll discuss that, including some major buys I made here today, right? But you just sound silly, like you're making fun of me for a stock I'm up only 884% on that right now. Like, what are you talking about? Like, that's just ridiculous, right? That's like, it'll be like Palantir. That'd be like Palantir stock crashing and it goes down to like $60, right? And instead of my gain being 1,400% gain, it goes down to like a 700% gain or something. Like what are we talking about here, okay? Step two, let me be very clear. You're not welcome here. If you are that type of person that you're rooting against me, you're rooting against others in the community, you are not welcome here. That is not what we do here. That's never been what we do here. We want others to do well. And if we ever have an investment that doesn't go well, we learn from it, we adapt. That's what life's all about. We'll never bat 100%. Not every investment's ever going to go perfect. It's not the way this works. It's not the way investing works. Even the stock market in general does not work that way. There's massive corrections, massive crashes, things like that, right? We don't need those sorts of people here because you guys are the absolute worst, especially when we get a bear market. And I've seen this before. I've been on YouTube plenty long now to see several bear markets. I've seen several now at this point in time. Just since I've been on YouTube, never mind prior to being on YouTube. Those people are the worst because they love to throw it in everybody's face about how much they're losing and, oh, you bought this stock and look at the market just crash more and just crash more and ah ha 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 ha, right? And the problem is a lot of newer investors that get in the market, they start feeling bad about themselves and they're like, oh, you know what, everybody's laughing at me, everybody's making fun of me. I guess I am making a mistake. I'll go ahead and sell my stocks, right? And then they miss the ridiculous, massive recovery coming out of that. And you could look at every bear market. The recovery coming out of that over the next few years is insane. And there's so much money to be made. No different than look at the most recent one we had, the 2022 bear market. There has been so much money to be made in 2023, 2024, and in the beginning of 2025. And a lot of people missed that because they got caught up in all that negativity. Those people that are making fun of everybody who's buying the dip and, oh, you're going down your stocks, you're bum, all that stuff. Like, if you're that type of person, leave. Never come back. I don't need you. I don't need your views. No one in this community needs you. If you're that type of person that's just rooting for people to go down and waiting to make fun of them. Bye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Go watch some TikTok because that's what your brain needs. Go watch Netflix all day because that's what you need. Don't let the door hit you. Step 3, find God. Seriously, find God. If you get pleasure out of other people doing bad and rooting against it, like, you have serious mental problems. Like, you got problems in your brain, you got problems in your spirit. Please find God. And I'm not joking about that. That's problematic. I could not imagine living a life in which I actively root against people and I can't wait for something to go wrong for them and I start clapping. Oh, yeah, woohoo. You did. Like, that's wild. Like, how people live like that, I could not imagine it. That's a wild, wild way to live, okay? Find God, please, okay? Next up here. Next thing, this is to help a lot of people, especially a lot of newer people in the market. Listen, I have zero worries in regards to my portfolios. And the reason being is I have a game plan. I know what I'm doing. I know how to value companies. I know how to research business models. I know income statements and balance sheets. I listen to, everything I can around these stocks. I have a game plan. I have zero worries on all of my investments. And keep in mind, there will be some investments I make that I end up selling for a loss. That's the way this game goes. You never bat 100%. It doesn't matter if you're Warren Buffett, if you're Jeremy Lefebvre, if you're, Peter Lynch. It doesn't matter who you are. You will make mistakes sometimes, right? And you think, oh, this stock's going to be a great stock for the next 5 years, and it wasn't. That happens. I have a full game plan, regardless of whatever the situation is. So I walk around with zero worries in regards to my portfolio. I'm set up extremely, extremely well, right? I know what I'm doing in this game. Now, unfortunately, many people have no game plan, and this is just one of a billion examples I give you. This is a comment got recently. It said, purchase my first 3 options ever yesterday, and they were in ELF, $2,000 down the drain, right? Many folks have no game plan. Like, to just be buying call options like that, it's not a game plan. That's just gambling, man. You're just gambling. You're just throwing money around, right? And, unfortunately, folks are going to have to learn the hard way in regards to this. If you don't know what you're doing and you don't have a game plan, you are going to get absolutely trashed. And I'm not talking over just the short term. I'm talking over the long term, right? Because anybody can go down on a stock in the short term, or the market goes down as a crap. Big deal. Okay, we went down short term. That's fine. But if you don't have any game plan, you're just gambling, throwing money around, you're going to lose long term massively. And when you're doing these sorts of plays, like, that money's not coming back. That's the thing. Like, you throw $2,000 down the drain when it comes to a call option or something like that money's not coming back, right? You make an investment and you buy, Microsoft, right? And you put $2,000 in the stock and it goes down. Okay, big deal. Like, Microsoft's probably going to go higher long term. You're probably going to make money on that, right? Same thing with the SP 500. Same thing, you go buy Meta tomorrow, right? Put $2,000 in Meta stock. Okay, Meta goes down $20 a share. Oh man, I'm down on Meta stock. Meta's probably going to $1,000 to $2,000 long term, so you'll be just fine. You're still going to make that money back. You throw $2,000 away on a call option or something like that, you're not getting that money back. It's gone, 100% gone, right? And it's unfortunate because I laid this all out in this video. They got 140,000 views a week ago. I said my warning to all stock market, and I told you guys, like, this is like, people are going to end up learning the hard way in regards to this. There's way too many people gambling money right now, throwing money at stocks, just hoping it goes up and just not knowing what the heck they're doing in the market. It's unfortunate, right? And there's no excuse for that, especially in my community, because I have my entire private group that is open to everybody, right? You have to apply for it, but it's open to everybody. And, so many folks have gone through that, scaled to 6 figures, multi-6 figures, 7 figures, multi-7 figures, 8 figures, right? And, some people say, oh, but it costs money to be part of your private group. Sure. You know what else costs money? To lose a fortune in the stock market because you're gambling money. So you're going to tell me somebody's got money to gamble on call options? They got money to gamble on stocks, hundreds of dollars, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, just throw at stocks. You don't know what an income statement is. You don't know a balance sheet. You don't know cash flow. You don't know how to properly value stocks. You don't know how to properly build a portfolio or run a portfolio. And you got money to gamble on all that, but you don't have money to research and to actually study and know what you're doing in a company? What are we talking about here? Are we kidding me? Like that's wild. That's wild, man. Like let that sink in for a moment. Like, this is an opportunity to learn something that's going to benefit you for years and decades to go in the future. So you go from out of a gambler mindset, right, into like an actual investor mindset and set yourself up for long-term success, right? And I even have a super affordable deal coming up on 1000X, right? I'll put that as a pinned comment down there today, Valentine's Day sale. And then has an entire education portion that teaches you all this, that goes super in depth on balance sheets and income statements and how to perform SWOT analysis on a high level, right? How to properly run a portfolio, all that stuff. And so to make excuses like, oh, I don't have the money to learn this stuff, but yet you have money to gamble and just throw out there stocks, that's wild, man. Like, your mindset is not in a good place. I'll tell you that. It's in a bad place. You've got to learn this stuff so you get out of this gambler mentality, right? And there's a term called degenerate gambler, somebody who gambles compulsively despite negative consequences. And unfortunately, that can happen in the stock market where, people don't know what they're doing. They have no clue. Let me be very clear, if you're just throwing money around at stocks, right, you're gambling. Like, you're setting yourself up to be a degenerate gambler, unfortunately, and end up getting gambling addiction. Like, that's sad, right? Versus if you actually learn this stuff, everything you need to know, right? And you actually put in the research work, you become an investor. And you're not doing all this gambling crap, right? And it's just right now specifically, I see a lot of people gambling money, and it's sad. It's really, really sad, and they're going to end up learning the hard way. And some people won't. Some people will actually take this stuff serious, right? And they'll learn everything they got to learn. And those people will prosper over the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, right? And the people that don't, and they're just going to gamble money, they're going to be here today, gone tomorrow. As that 2021 class was here today, gone tomorrow. The same exact thing will happen again, right? So I'm laying all this out for you guys ahead of time. 2024, this is the public account alone, I was able to make $294,000. And when I say make, I'm talking took those as profits, right? That's all my profits minus losses on the year, $294,000, right? Plus all the unrealized gains like that, then we're talking millions. That's just a whole different game there, right? That's in the public account alone. And then so far this year in 2025, I've already in the public account alone, and it's February 7th, I've already taken $194,000 in profits this year, right? That is pretty unbelievable, but you got to understand the way I play this game, right? There's stocks I'm buying right now in 2025, and we're about to go through a bunch of stocks I'm buying, right? Those stocks I'm buying in 2025, the payoff is not 2025. Like, some of them might go up a bunch this year, and that's fine, cool. That's not my plan. My plan is I'm buying all these stocks in 2025 that are going to pay off in 2026. They'll pay off in 2027, in 2028, in 2029. Like, the payoffs down the road, I don't need these stocks to be successful right now because I have so much I've made on past investments. For instance, right? Think about all these massive profits I've taken so far in 2025 just in the public account alone, right? Toll Brother puts, that was the most recent one. I bought those back in 2024, right? Palantir, that was a 2022 buy. Meta, that was, I bought that on and off for years, but the most recent adding of a lot of shares was back in 2022, right? Tesla, 2019, right? And so you look at all the money I'm making, all the profits I'm taking, right? And guess what? Those were investments that were years ago investments, right? And so you see me buying these stocks now in 2025. I don't need them to pay off now. And that's, the people that have been watching my channel for a long time, this part of the game, right? But I'm doing this part of the video for the people that are kind of newer to the channel, newer to this investing thought process. I don't need these to pay off right now. If Nike doesn't go up this year, I don't care. I would rather have it go down because I buy more shares for cheaper because I know where it's going likely over the next 3 to 5 years. Same thing with AMD, same thing with ELF, same thing with all these stocks I'm buying this year. I don't need them to go up right now. For what? I'm buying them. I'd rather buy for cheaper, right? Like 90% plus of you guys watching this video, like you understand this concept, you love this, but this is for that, 5% or whatever that are kind of newer to investing and you're a noob, you don't really understand the game. I'm showing you the whole blueprint right now. I'm laying it all out for you. Like I hope you're, retaining all this information I'm teaching you here right now. I posted this inside this private stock group. When was this? I guess last night this was, okay? I said, we have drama starting, folks. This is how the stock market really is. 2023, 2024 were too perfect. Deep seek stuff a few weeks ago. Trump tariff stuff recently. Google, which by the way, that Trump tariff stuff's hitting a lot of stocks right now that could be affected by tariffs right now. It's just not getting talked about that much. Google, AMD, Amazon, Microsoft all dinged on their earnings. ELF and some other stocks, total crash. For the new investors, this is a good test for you to see what you're made out of. Your big test will be in the next bear market. If you can make it through bear markets, you can make it through anything. Ask any of the OGs that have been with me for years. Roll on, baby. And that's what it's all about. Like, this is just what's kind of happening here recently in the market. This is test number one to see if you're made for this, okay? And so this is, some people aren't even going to be made for this part of the volatility, right? Like, an ELF situation last night or AMD not hitting the earnings or Google going down on their earnings and, Amazon or whatever. Like some people are already going to get flushed out of the market just of that little bit of volatility. Like that's already going to be too much for them. And I can't do this. This is too much for me, okay? So those investors get thrown out. The big wave of investors that will get thrown out of the market is in that next bear market, whether that's this year or next year or the year after, whatever. Whenever that next bear market hits, that will be the next test. So if you're kind of newer to the market, just understand if you get through the next bear market, you can make it through anything. Like that's just what it is. Like bear markets, they will dictate who's really ready to be in this game long term and who's not fit for it, right? And not everybody's going to be fit for this game, right? Somebody like myself, throw the S&P 500 down 50%. I don't care. Do it. Throw it down 70%, whatever. Like 20%, whatever. Fine. Like there's nothing that could happen in the stock market that will make me even like, oh, wow. Nothing. I started in the great financial crisis where all the indexes fell over 50%. Right? Where we were afraid we were going to lose the entire banking system. That was the most severe, crazy situation we had since the Great Depression, right? I went through a once in 100-year crash in the stock market in 2020 where we were talking about the global economy was going to be closed down for years and we were going to have something that was worse than the Great Depression. Like, holy smokers, this ain't no dang jokers. Everything is just whatever at this point in time, right? I made it through that. And I'm just telling you, if you make it through those bear markets, you can make it through anything. Because you've got to understand, on the other side of each bear market, there's so much money to be made. Like, look at the public count as a perfect example. In the 2022, at the end of 2022, the public count was around $1 million, right? Look where it is today. And that's had minimal deposits over the last few years. And it's well over $3 million now. Never mind if you add up my other portfolios as well, what those are up, right? So just understand there's a whole game going on here, right? And it's a game of flushing investors out. And some people are not going to make it. Listen, if the stock market just goes up every day and stocks just go up every day, everybody can invest in that market. That's easy. You think that's hard? No, of course that's not hard. If all stocks do every day is go up, what's the challenge? And that's why everybody would be a stock. Like literally, if it was that simple, everybody would be a stock picker. Instead, people like myself are the rarity. I'm the 1%. Matter of fact, I'm probably the 1% of the 1%, right? How many people really do what I do? It's a very, very small amount of people, extremely small amount of people, right? That do this and do this on a high level. It is like literally like if you added up all the true retail investors that do stock picking, I'm not talking about stock gamblers that are just throwing money in the market and just don't know what they're doing. They're like, oh, I heard this stock on blah, blah, blah. I'm going to invest. Kramer said it was a buy, so I bought it, right? Jeremy said it's a buy, so I'm going to buy it. Oh, I heard somebody on Seeking Alpha said it was a buy, so I'm buying it. I'm talking about the real retail investors that are doing the research work, income statements, balance sheets, understanding business models, SWOT analysis, P ratios, forward P ratios, future growth rates, running projections. How many people are doing that in this world? I would say there's less than 5 million people in the world. I'm not talking America, in the world that are doing that. There's a lot more retail investors, but they're not retail investors. There's traders gambling money around. I would say there's less than 5 million people in the entire world doing what I do. That's crazy. Because this is, last time I checked, this planet has like 7 billion plus people on it, right? Aren't we approaching 8 billion or something like that? And there's probably less than 5 million people in this world that do what we're doing here. So just understand, not everybody's cut out for this, man. Most people aren't. And when I say most people, I'm talking like 99.9%, if not 99.99% of people are not ready for this game, right? They're not cut out for this game. So with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about some stocks I bought, why I bought those stocks. I hope you guys really enjoyed that part of the video. Listen, in the comments section, let me know if you guys really enjoyed that. For the newer investors, I hope that was helpful to you. And for the OGs that have been with me for quite some time, I'm sure you guys enjoyed that because you probably were saying, preach, baby, preach. You're probably saying that the whole dang video right there, right? Because you love that stuff. Alrighty, so let's talk about some stocks I bought this week. Okay, first up, AMD, bought 325 shares of AMD, $35,000 worth, bought $13,000 of ELF, 150 shares there. Nike, 28 shares, $2,000 worth there, right? All three of those stocks I love for the long term. I think they're all gonna, I think if we fast forward 2, 3, 4 years in advance, we're gonna be like, dang, that was some deals he got there. Those are some great buys. Maybe I'm wrong. I can accept that, but I don't think so. I don't think so. It was a big moving day for me in the public account yesterday. Big moving day, okay? I cashed some Meta shares, right? I cashed some Tesla shares, and I cashed some Palantir shares yesterday, right? And I went ahead and bought Nike, 625 shares there. I bought 624 shares of AMD. I bought 1,444 shares of Celsius. I bought 405 shares of Monster. I bought 200 shares of Estee Lauder. Now, do you notice what's going on here? I'm selling some of the loved, right? Now, keep in mind, let's go back in time. Let's go back in time. This is going to be fun. Let's go back in time 2.5 years ago. Alrighty, we're back in time 2.5 years ago. Before 1000X. Okay. What were some of the, if I asked you, what are some of the most hated, trashed, talked about stocks in the stock market? What would you say? You say Meta. Meta would be number one. Most hated, most trashed stock 2.5 years ago. You would say Tesla. And who else would you say? Oh, that one stock that was $30-something and fell to $6. Oh, it was something like Palantir? Palantir? Oh yeah, that one. So isn't it funny? 2.5 years ago, the most hated, vilified, trashed on, kicked while they were down stocks in the stock market. And now they're so loved. Look where their stock prices have done over the past 2.5 years. Unbelievable. Simply unbelievable, right? So now you see me taking profits here and there on those, right? And what am I positioning money into? Oh, some of the most vilified, hated stocks in the stock market that have great business models that are going to be prospering in the future, right? And these stocks are just kicked and kicked and kicked down right now. Nike, AMD, Celsius, Monster, Estee Lauder, ELF, it's all the hated stocks. All these companies, look at their business models over the last 10, 20 years. They're phenomenal. And they're going to be way better in the future. But right now, for one reason or another, people don't like these stocks and they vilify them. They say they're trash. The same comments I got years ago when I was buying Palantir. The same comments I got years ago when I was buying Meta. And you know what I used to say? I used to, compare Meta or Palantir to this company and that company. People used to say, oh, well, they're not that company. They're trash. Quit comparing them to that company. They're trash. And now, when I compare other companies to Tesla, Palantir, and these other stocks, you know what they say? Oh, those companies are trash. Don't compare them to Meta. They're trash. Don't compare them to Palantir. It's literally identical. It's identical. It's just history repeating itself again and again and again and again. And I'm like, okay, talk to me in a few years. Talk to me in a few years. You know what's interesting is I think a lot of the people that used to trash Meta back when I was buying Meta and Palantir and Tesla and those sorts of stocks, right? I think a lot of those people are gone now. Like, I never see them anymore. Like, they were happy to trash those stocks back then. But man, that's crazy. That's crazy, right? Crazy to think back now. Isn't that funny? So anyways, it's a rotation game now, right? I'm taking profits in the loved now, and I'm moving money into the vilified and the hated now at this point in time that also have great futures in front of them that are going to make me lots of money over the next few years, right? And that's where the thing you got to understand, it's where a lot of times you make the most money. When you can find companies that have business models that have done very well over the last 10 years, but they're going through a tough patch, a 1 to 2 year tough patch, right? And you can find those stocks that are just beaten down, no one wants to own them, and they just got relentless selling pressure on them for 12, 24 months straight, right? When those businesses turn, right, which is what great companies do, they turn around and next thing you know, their revenues start going up again, their margins start going up again, their net income starts going up again, their earnings per share start going up again. What happens? The buying pressure comes in and it's intense because you already had everybody that could have possibly wanted to sell that stock had 12, 24, 36 months to sell that stock. And so when the buying pressure finally comes in, it's only the very strongest hands left. And those people have already been through so much that they don't even care. When the stock starts going up again, they're not very fast to rush to the exits, which puts more and more buying pressure on it, and it gets very intense. Like, think about Meta. Meta's a great example. Everybody who could have wanted to possibly sell Meta sold Meta in 2022, right? Everybody. And then when the buying pressure started to come back in that stock and the business model started to turn around, it went up rapidly. It went from 88 to 170 and doubled up like that. And then it went from 170 to 340 and doubled up like that. And then it went from 340 to 680 like that. And now we're talking about a stock that's 700 plus. That's on its way to 1,000 over the next year or two, right? And so understand that's where a lot of times the most money's made in great business models that are going through a tough time. The stocks are beaten down to a pulp. They're down 60, 70, 80%. You go ahead and find those opportunities. You invest into them. And catch a fallen knife. Like, people say, you shouldn't catch fallen knives. I've caught a lot of fallen knives and it's worked out really dang well. It works out really well. So my strategy works. Like, I don't know what else to tell you other than it works really well. Yeah, now if you want to compare returns over the last 5 years, we can compare it. I'll show you the public account. You show me your account over the last 5 years. I think it's going to be hard to keep up with me over a 5-year span and over a 10-year span. I cannot wait till the public account has 10-year returns. Oh my gosh. I cannot wait for that, man. And so the moral of the story is I like to catch fallen knives in great companies, and it works out very darn well. This is what the public account's looking like now at this point in time, right? We have, obviously, Meta's the big dog in the portfolio, followed up by Palantir, followed up by Tesla, followed up by Amazon, followed up by PayPal, right? PayPal is kind of somewhat hated again a little bit, but not that bad because it already went through its major hate cycle. I'm up $48,000. I can't complain, right? And by the way, PayPal is a buy right now. AMD, huge buy right now. I'm up to 5% weighting there. Cheesecake Factory is looking really good. The great thing with Cheesecake is it's gone up quite a bit, already up 37%, does not include dividends, but Cheesecake's still a buy. Like, that's the thing with cake. Like, that stock's still a buy. And it's an easy buy too, as long as you got a long-term outlook. Who cares about whatever happens next quarter, blah, blah. Like, at the end of the day, like, they have two massive growth restaurant concepts that are just going to be expanding all over the United States of America with North Italia and Flower Child. Like, dude, that company's, they got it made. Like, could you say, a recession comes in and hits them? Sure, that's always possible. But at the end of the day, people have gotten so used to eating out that it's so ingrained in like the culture now that people are still going to just eat out. Like, you can look at the huge inflation we had, right? Massive inflation. And guess what? Even after all that inflation, the consumer wages going down, all that stuff for a couple of years, like, people still went out to eat. They still did. Like, they still made it through, right? Nike, followed up by Celsius, followed up by Revolve, Fubo, Estee Lauder, EL, followed up by Elf, right? This is a really good pair investment I like right now. I think it's a phenomenal concept right now to be buying heavily Estee Lauder and Elf stock and doing that over this next a few months, if not this entire year, because I think that's going to set up very well long term. You got to understand, like, Estee Lauder and Elf are going to be around and probably way more relevant 10 years from now than they are today. And so I love just the concept of buying them both simultaneously, right? And then prospering on the other side of that. SoFi, man, SoFi, just a beast. Already up 113% on that. And they got Monster and they got Speculative Planet there, which Planet I'm just kind of waiting on to see what the Florida numbers are looking like there if I'm going to start buying more shares. Here today, made some big buys, $50,000. Bought Elf, $28,000 worth of Elf. I bought Nike, almost $13,000 worth of Nike. And then another almost $9,000 of AMD, right? So you can clearly see, that's the thing with me. I put my money where my mouth is. I don't just talk about stocks and say, oh, this stock's good, this stock's bad. I put my money where my mouth is. If I say Elf's a great buy, and I go do it. If I say Nike's a steal deal here, it's easy money, what do you see me do? I go buy it. I don't just talk to talk. I don't just like, oh, yeah, that stock's a buy. No, I go do it. I put my hard-earned money where my mouth is, right? And that's always been the way I've been doing this since we go all the way back to the days I was making barely above minimum wage at Walgreens and Einstein Bagels. The same game plan. Where if I see a deal out there, I don't care if I got $500 to buy with, like I did back in the day, back in 2009, or whether I got $50,000 to buy with. To me, it's all good, baby. And I've got a good stack of cash around, So if the market sells off, I welcome that. I gladly welcome that. And I buy every single week. One of the biggest things, what did I tell you guys the most important thing to be a great long-term stock market investor? Number one over everything. What did I tell you guys all the time? More income than expenses. It's the key. If you have more income than expenses, you're in a situation where every week or every month, you can buy stocks. You're not a victim to the whole, I need to invest it all right now or I can't. No. You have more income than expenses. You're ready to buy every single week. I buy every single week. And if you can't buy every single week, you need to at least buy every single month. And if you can't do that, you can't invest. If you can't invest regularly at least once a month, your financial life is not in a good enough place yet to even invest at all. You have to be in a situation where you can buy stocks at least once a month, because then you're not in a mentality of like stressing all the time. Because here's the thing. If you told me stocks go down short term, it doesn't matter. It's cool. I'm buying next week. You told me, oh, stocks are going down 2 weeks from now. Sweet. I'm buying 2 weeks from now. You told me, oh, 2 months from now, the stock market's going down. Awesome, baby. I'll be ready to buy in 2 months, because I will be buying in 2 months. Like, that's the name of the game, folks, okay? Always remember that. That's the key over everything before you worry about balance sheets and income statements and P ratios and, SWOT analysis. Income and expenses. You got to have more income than expenses every single month, right? Now, I posted this on X. I'm not sure if you guys follow me on X. That's linked in the description area if you ever want to follow me on X, if you use that. Also, my Instagram's always linked in the description area as well, right? But I posted this. I said trivia. Oh, or no, I didn't. I have a trivia question for you guys. But I posted this. I showed Elf, right? I said, a reminder, Elf has beaten revenue estimates every quarter dating back to Rona. What? I said, that's truly a generational run. I said, even Mag 7 type stocks can't say that. And here's a trivia question for you. Which Mag 7 stock has actually pulled this off? Because there's only one of them. All the other Mag 7s missed several times revenue estimates since Rona. There's only one of the Mag 7s that has actually pulled this off. You want to know? nvidia. nvidia is the only one of the Mag 7 that has actually somehow beat revenue estimates every single quarter since Rona, which is pretty insane to think, right? So think about whose company Elf is in. They're in the company of nvidia. Like, you understand how insane this is? Like, to beat that many quarters in a row. You know how good of a CEO you got to be? You know how good of an executive team you got to be to beat your revenue estimates every single quarter for years? Insane, man. Listen, you have two pills you can either take. You can take a short-term mindset pill, or you can take the long-term mindset pill, right? Short-term thinkers focus on the here and now. Long-term thinkers visualize what's next and are guided by a vision for the future, right? Now, long-term thinkers are a minority, right? I'm a long-term thinker. I'm a minority. The majority have a short-term mindset. For us long-term thinkers, sometimes we got to remember to enjoy the moment because we're playing on a game plan that's years in the future. Like I'm not even playing on a 2025 game plan right now. I'm playing on I'm already out to 2027. I'm already out in 2028 right now. I'm way out there playing a game right now, right? And so sometimes I have to bring myself back to be like, hey, let's enjoy this moment we have right now, right? Because I'm already playing this long-term game. And so you got to understand, which pill do you want to take? It's kind of like, in the Matrix, Morpheus, and he's like, here's your options, and you got to, and once you go down that mindset, you can kind of never really go back, and I found that out when I went and took that pill back in, 2008, and really focused on long-term thinking. And that's what's gotten me to this point. I'm fortunate today, right? Through the glory of God and a lot of work, and understanding long-term thinking, we've been able to accomplish all this. All the dreams I had set out for myself and I could accomplish this and do this, it's all playing out. And I'm working on stuff right now that's way bigger long-term, right, than where we're at today. And so once you go down that mindset, you can't really go back. So I just do want to say that first and foremost, right? But that's how you have to be if you're going to achieve a lot of financial success in this world. And I could say not just financial success, that's how you got to be if you're going to achieve any success really in this world. Because in order to achieve any sort of major success in this world, you have to have a longer term mindset because nothing that is worth doing is really something you can pull off short term. It's all long term stuff. Always remember that, okay? So it's very important there. And I have a few videos I want to show you guys that I want you guys to watch this weekend, okay? Or this coming week, whatever. One is this. This is my favorite video I posted all of 2024. I'm sure a lot of you guys watch this video right now. You have seen that video at least once, right? 16 years of stock market advice in 52 minutes. This is a phenomenal video. That's one of those videos you want to put it in your notes on your phone, come back to it every once in a while, and watch that video and watch that video and watch that video. That's one of those videos. Don't let it die. Don't let it die on YouTube and go to the YouTube abyss. Let's keep that video relevant for years to go in the future because that's going to benefit so many people. Another video I want you guys to watch, maybe this weekend, is this one. 6 stocks to buy and hold forever. It's a video I did a couple months ago. Very valuable video on thinking about some stocks to hold forever, right? Another video that you might want to check out. Nike stock is easy money. I think that's a video worth watching, okay? And then the 2 more recent videos I did, buy ELF stock and don't stop, and keep buying AMD and don't stop. Those are definitely, I think, some videos worth maybe checking out as well, okay? Appreciate you guys joining me as always. Pin comment down there today will be if you're looking to access the 1000xstocks.com deal for the entire research platform plus that education portion. We're going to have a 1-day sale on that, a little less than a week from now. Pin comment down there. It's going to be one day only sale. Much love and have a great day.